Well, we call it the herd hierarchy every week, top 10 teams in the NFL. It is Tuesday, and here we go.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Well, Jordan Love's not healthy. He leads the NFL in picks. 7 straight starts with an interception. Longest streak by a Packer quarterback since Brett Favre. And I think it's a thing. I think Green Bay can make mistakes, but they can't make them against San Francisco. They can't make them against Detroit. And this weekend, the mistakes caught up. I still like this team a lot. The schedule's getting very interesting after the bye for them. Niners, Dolphins, Lions. They got to clean some stuff up, but I put them at number 10.
Number 9.
The Chargers I probably have low. Number 1 scoring defense. First team to hold opponents to 20 points or fewer in each of their first 8 games since the Patriots 5 years ago. Opposing quarterbacks have a 75 passer rating. Justin Herbert, he's not throwing that much, and he's not making any mistakes. Can you imagine this defense went from a tire fire with Brandon Staley to the best, arguably, after Kansas City in the league with mostly the same personnel? Herbert, Harbaugh, Khalil Mack, Bosa, the wide receivers were healthy this week and looked good enough. They feel a little like Kansas City. You wish they were a little deeper at wide receiver. Coach, quarterback, pass rush, run game, they're good. Chargers 9.
Number 8.
Steelers at 8. They did beat the Chargers, although Herbert was hurt. Russell Wilson, listen, he's not making any mistakes, and he's getting the ball to George Pickens. So George Pickens, since Russell took over, has multiple touchdowns. He had a touchdown called back. He's got 150-plus yards. They're leaning on their best receiver. Russell's not making mistakes. Najee Harris is carrying the ball. They've got a great pass rush. I think the ceiling is lower than it is for teams like Green Bay and the Chargers. But right now, healthy, good, no mistakes, good coach and defense. I have Pittsburgh at 8.
Number 7.
I think the Commanders have a much higher ceiling, especially since getting Marcus Lattimore. 7 of 8 games, their only loss to the Ravens, and they were competitive in that. Number 3 rushing offense, number 3 total offense. It kind of feels like C.J. Stroud, his rookie year. You're like, do we have a top 10 quarterback now? I think Jaden Daniels right now is a top 10 quarterback. I think he's that good. 13 total touchdowns and 2 turnovers. That's never been done with a rookie quarterback in their first 9 starts. He's got the poise of a 29-year-old, 30-year-old, 31-year-old quarterback, and they just got better in the secondary.
Number 6.
I love the roster. The coach drives me nuts. Philadelphia, they're 4-0 since the bye, and since the bye, Jalen Hurts, 72% completion percentage during the 4-game winning streak. Basically, they put some borders around him. A.J. Brown will come back. They'll be even better. But basically, the last 3 seasons, this team doesn't lose. They're 14-1 when Jalen Hurts doesn't turn it over. So they finally looked at the analytics and said, let's take away the risks. Let's run Jalen Hurts a few more times. Let's not throw it quite as much. And if we don't turn it over, we win the games. I still think their coach scares me in big spots, but I have the Eagles at 6.
Number 5.
San Francisco. I was a seller early. I'm a buyer now because Jennings and Christian McCaffrey are coming back. Listen, they outgain opponents by 98 yards a game. That is something. That's the best in the NFL. They have the second highest graded offense, PFF, in the NFL. And again, now they get Jordan Mason moves to backup running back, and McCaffrey will make them a better red zone offense. So but the thing is now they're not like the previous Niners. They're 3-0 when Purdy doesn't have a turnover. So their margins have shrunk. They're not as dominating. They are beat up more. You know, they're going to beat you, but they're not going to hammer you like they did 3 years ago when Kittle was closer to his prime and Debo wasn't as banged up.
Number 4.
Buffalo. I mean, it's really remarkable how Josh Allen stopped turning the ball over, and that's the story. It's the same team. I don't know if I trust them in a big spot. Will McDermott get conservative? But basically, it's the same team as last year without the turnovers, and that's a really good football team. Josh Allen has more touchdowns than sacks and turnovers combined. So we always said, if you could get rid of the reckless, Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league, and they're dangerous. Well, they're out of the reckless, and he's got more weapons on offense, so I have them at number 4.
Number 3.
The Ravens. Again, it's a January trust issue. It's not a regular season issue. Number 1 total offense, only team averaging 7 yards a play. I don't know how great Denver's defense is, but they were reeling, and they did whatever they wanted to. And I think the other thing is this team's really smart. Derrick Henry is such a good ad for them. So it's like this two-pronged run game. You can't cheat. Play action works more effectively. Lamar Jackson now has bigger windows to throw in because you not only have to be honest when you're facing Lamar, now you've got Derrick Henry. So it just leaves linebackers clinging to the defensive line, and the gap between linebacker and safety is greater than ever, and Lamar's taking advantage of it.
Number 2.
Listen, it's really close, but I would take Andy Reid and Mahomes over Goff and Dan Campbell. They have more touchdowns than incompletions during this 6-game winning streak. They're healthy. They're physical. Zadarius Smith is a nice add. He's not Hutchison. They're averaging 32 points a game. That's like a college team. But again, if you're asking me to stack them up against Kansas City, playoff football is coaching and quarterback play. Mahomes is more of an athlete than Goff, and Andy Reid is the best coach, arguably, in the sport's history. I put Detroit at 2.
Number 1.
What's interesting with Kansas City, it's the opposite of the Tyreek Hill offense. They actually lead the NFL in time of possession. They've become this methodical, boring, 3.7-yard-a-carry run game that remains undaunted on third down. So you get all the high-leverage brilliance, all the great coaching and quarterback play, the best coordinator on the defensive side. Now they're just kind of boring. That's why Tampa Bay not going for the win last night makes no sense. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.